If you don't like movies that you think might make you cry, you still should watch this. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. Usually I am not a huge fan of going to see movies that I know are going to be sad or will make me cry at the end or any time in them, except for maybe a Pixar movie or two, but even then I still don't like crying. But going to see A Star is Born, I was so excited for it. The cast is amazing, directed by Bradley Cooper. It's his first movie directing. It's Lady Gaga's first movie that she's acted in. She was in American Horror Story for a season, but she hasn't done a full feature film. So I was really excited to see both Bradley Cooper's directing ability and Lady Gaga's acting ability, because I didn't watch that season of American Horror Story. I've only seen her as a performer on, well, I haven't even seen her as a performer on stage, but I've only seen her as a musical performer, and I wanted to see her use her musical performing talents on the big screen. I am a fan of Lady Gaga. I do love her. She has such an amazing voice, no matter what style she's singing. So it was really exciting for me to see that she was going to be in this movie, because I had heard it talked about a little bit before, when she was kind of like signing on to it before it was even started. And then when I saw the first trailer, it was just so good. I got so excited for it. So I was ready and waiting the day the tickets went on sale. I got them. I've just been so ready for this movie for so long. There's also a original movie to this. I don't remember when it came out. I have not seen it yet. I actually did not know that there was an original movie to this until I was going through the 1001 Movie Challenge book, getting ready for my movie coming up this weekend. But I found that, and I kind of wish I had done it a little bit sooner, but maybe when this movie comes out on Blu-ray or during Oscar season, I will be doing that, checking that movie off the list. So I don't really know what the difference between the two is, what the story from the original one is, or if it's anything similar to this, because I know in this one, without spoiling anything, there are some things that I don't know if they necessarily would have had in this original one. I don't know. Again, I don't know when it came out. It was probably in the 70s or 80s, I would guess. So some of this is also very modern in a way. It also feels very much like a little bit of what Lady Gaga's career, from what I have heard and learned about her on my own time, or just reading gossip magazines, or just watching anything about Lady Gaga. She did start out kind of a little bit more subdued, and then became this, well, I don't know if that's going to spoil anything, but it might be a little bit of a spoiler, but I'll get into that in a second. But throughout Lady Gaga's career, she started out just kind of a little bit undertoned, a little bit just normal, and then became this really big pop star with crazy costumes and a crazy look. And then now she's a little bit more subdued again, and that's kind of a little bit of the way her character Allie goes through in this movie. And it's very interesting to see those parallels and why she was chosen maybe for this role. But I don't know if that's necessarily the reason she was chosen for this role, because she's great. She is so great as Allie. She is such a great actress. I'm surprised. Well, I guess I'm not like super surprised, because to put on some of the shows that she does, or that she used to, wearing all of those crazy costumes and clothing, she kind of had to be a great actress if that's not really who she felt she was. I don't really know that side of her story. I don't know her that well, but I feel like she probably would have been a great actress anyways. So really, really great performance from Lady Gaga. And Bradley Cooper, this is probably one of my favorite performances from him that I've seen. I know he did really well in American Sniper. I never watched that because it just was not a movie that really interested me, even though I am kind of intrigued by war movies. But again, it's that whole, I'm not a huge fan of movies I know are going to make me cry, and it just didn't seem like a movie that really interested me in general anyways, so I never saw it, but I heard he was great in it. It's one of my sister's favorite movies, I believe. But this movie, I feel like, will give his role in American Sniper a run for its money. I don't know if he will necessarily, well, Actually, you know what? I think he probably might be nominated for Best Leading Actor for the Oscars this year because he did so, like, he was just so powerful, so moving as Jack. You just really felt his, like, he even deepened his voice sounded different, he looked different. And you know from the trailers that he is very much an alcoholic, he's addicted to drugs, and you can see and feel that throughout his performance. You can feel when he is drunk, you can feel when he's sober, and it's just so powerful and so moving. And another big player in this was Sam Elliott, who played the manager slash roadie for Bradley Cooper's character Jack. There are some scenes between the two of them that are just so moving and beautiful and slightly terrifying and heart-wrenching, but also through it all, it's so beautiful. The story of this, I have in my notes that the story of this did feel a little bit predictable. I could see some things coming. It just is kind of the thing that happens with a lot of movies of this sort. But there are some things that happen throughout the end that you didn't really see coming. You kind of would have thought, oh, this would have happened, but it totally did not. And I enjoyed that because it really gives you a look and feel into what real life is like. Because if it had happened the way you had expected it to, it kind of just wasn't, it's not what happens in real life all the time. I mean, yeah, sure, it does happen, probably about 75% of the time, but that 25% of the time that it doesn't happen and it happens the way that the end of this movie happened, it felt more real, it felt more true to the story and the struggle throughout. So I really love that. And from the outside looking into this movie, it does seem more like a story of the relationship between Allie and Jack, which it is very much. But deep in the heart and soul of it, it is really about dealing with addiction to drugs and alcohol. Because that's what Jack's character, or Bradley Cooper's character Jack, goes throughout most of this, and how his and Lady Gaga's character, Allie's relationship, really kind of builds, and how they stay together, and what happens to kind of bend and sort of mold their relationship. I don't know if that's really the correct words to use, but how it kind of tests, I guess test is a better word, how it really tests their relationship is his struggle through this addiction. And it's amazing what they just go through and how they deal with it all. So I know this is a fairly short review for a movie that I really, really enjoyed. I definitely think there will be some Oscar nominations for it come January. I think that's usually when they announce the Oscars. End of January, early February. But come Oscar season, I feel like this is definitely going to be getting a couple nominations. Probably Lady Gaga, definitely for lead actress, Bradley Cooper for lead actor, and maybe Bradley Cooper for directing, because I didn't really talk about it a whole lot, but his directing was superb. He made a lot of interesting cinematography choices with some of the angles of the camera, and he also did some interesting stuff with sound. Because, and well, I'm not going to go into the sound part because it's slightly a spoiler, but there are certain parts in the movie where sound is very integral, not just because it is a musical, that's not necessarily a musical, but not because it's a movie about music, but it also has to do with how Bradley Cooper's character feels and perceives the world through sound, and it's really interesting the way they kind of did that all together. And speaking of that, I saw this in Dolby and it was amazing. There's this opening scene that is a rock show that Jack, Bradley Cooper's character, is performing in, and you feel it. You feel the seats vibrating, the sound. It just feels like you are in the audience at this show, and it's amazing. If you have a chance to go see this in Dolby at an AMC theater, I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I was. It would have been so cool. But if you have a chance to see it in Dolby, I definitely recommend it because you get the full audio experience. That is definitely what you need to go see it for. I think I rambled on a lot more than I thought I was going to. Either way, I really enjoyed this movie. As always, I am going to be giving it a rewatch score, and something that doesn't usually happen is my rewatch score differs from what I would normally give this as a score, because like a lot of you know, my rewatch score and my actual score are not always the same thing. For like a score, I would definitely give this a 5 out of 5. It is such an amazing movie. Probably not my favorite movie of the year. So far, that is still 8th grade. I really, really loved 8th grade. But this one is coming in a very, very close second. It's so beautiful, so powerful, so moving. But rewatchability score for me, I probably wouldn't add this to my collection just yet. For me, maybe rewatch it a second time and add it to my collection. So I would probably just give this a Redbox for right now, because it's not something that I just would sit in and watch a lot, because there are some sad and very emotionally moving parts that I don't usually like to just sit through and watch a lot. But that is everything I have for A Star Is Born. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of this movie. Did you enjoy it? Because I know it has been getting a lot of great reviews and some early Oscar buzz, like I have been talking about throughout this review. But let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on this movie as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I truly, truly, truly appreciate every single one of you. Let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I love talking all things movies, TV shows, filmmaking, film history, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!